A simple magnetic limit switch is one of the most reliable ways to add automation and prevent damage to your FTC robot. Getting sensors working correctly is a fundamental skill that makes your mechanisms more consistent and your autonomous routines more dependable. I'm Coach Pratt, and I've guided FTC teams to national championships and won multiple Inspire Awards, and I can tell you that reliable sensors are a key to part of that success. In this video, I'm going to run you through everything you need to know. We'll start with the physical wiring, look at the configuration, and then write that Java code to read the sensor states. And finally, I'll walk through some practical examples of how you can use it on your own robot. So working with a magnetic limit switch is very similar to working with a touch sensor or any other digital device. So if you've been following through up to this point with my testing bench, you don't have to do any more changes to this. You can go ahead and skip right to the coding. Otherwise, I've wired in my magnetic limit switch here with a JST connector up to one of the digital ports. I believe I've connected to 4.5. Then on the robot configuration file, we can tap these three buttons up here and select Configure Robot. Come down to edit our configuration file. Come down to our digital devices. And I'm going to scroll down until I get to 4.5. Now, on the 4.5 here, it actually doesn't matter which one you choose. You're going to choose the even or the odd. The magnetic limit switch will work on both. I like to write my sensors here with a snake case just because it makes things a little bit easier for me. And I set it up as a digital device, not as a touch sensor. I do that on purpose because it allows me to do a little more teaching tools here. So I choose done, 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 and save. Go ahead and save it as your name there. And then you have to click activate. When you tap activate, it will restart your robot. And then now your robot knows where your configuration file is. So let's head over to the desktop here and let's start programming. When it comes down to all of your mechanisms, I like to keep my mechanisms in separate folders and separate packages to make my code a little bit more cleaner. So underneath this team code, I've gone and right-clicked and I've made a new package. And I've called this package called mechanisms. And inside this mechanisms, I have, of course, my main test bench class. But we're going to go ahead and make a new mechanism folder here. And you might add this, say, for your own robot. You might have a class for the linear slides. You might have a class for the intake, a class for the outtake, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to make this new class. We're going to call this one a test bench, and this is a limit switch. And inside here, we're going to make a new private digital channel called limit sensor, or we'll call this one limit magnet. And then we're going to create a new method to initialize this hardware. So we're going to say public void init, and in here we need to call in a hardware map that we're going to pull in later. And then we're going to actually initialize that digital channel. We're going to say that our limit magnet is going to be equal to hardmap.get, and we're going to say digital channel.class. And then we need to put in the exact name. And in this case, I believe I called this a magnet underscore limit underscore sensor. If you do not name this the exact same as in your configuration file, this won't work. Now, on digital channels, you can either have them as inputs or as outputs. So our limit magnet.setMode is going to be digital channel.mode.input. Now, I like to use that autocomplete on the Android IDE. It makes things a lot easier. So now we've got our magnet limit switch set up here. We have it set up as a digital channel and as an input. And now it's time to actually write a getter function so we can get the values from that. So this is going to be a public Boolean. We're going to call this one get limit switch. And we're not going to pass any arguments into this one. Instead, this one is simply going to return magnet limit dot get state. Now, on this one, we're actually going to reverse the logic and we're going to say not. So how limit switches work on digital is that there are sensors that are pull up and pull down. And this kind of has to do with some electronic knowledge. Effectively, there's always a electrical channel that's being, or electrical circuit that's always being run through the sensor. And when that sensor is not being read, it's always going to read a positive value until you trigger the sensor. Then it's going to route itself through ground, and it's going to pull down to 0 volts, either 3.3 volts or 0 volts. And I know that logic seems like it would be reversed, but on the electrical side of things, a pull-up resistor is far more reliable than a pull-down resistor that's constantly reading ground until it applies voltage. So that is the reason why it ends up being reversed. So what would happen is if we didn't have this not here, it's actually going to give us the value of true. And then when we connect the limit switch, it's going to say false. So instead, we're going to switch that. So it's going to return the opposite value of what is currently reading. And that would be a little bit more accurate for us. And actually, we might rename this instead of get limit switch. We might call this one is limit switch closed. So is it closed? Is it magnetic connected? Whatever makes more sense in your brain for that one to actually be connected. So that is our hardware class setup. Let's go ahead and make a new class inside the team code here. We're going to make a new Java class. We're going to call this one magnet test. And inside this, we're going to extend the OpMode. And if you remember, our OpMode always needs two methods. It always needs the public void init, and it always needs the public void loop. At the start of our class, we're going to make a new instance of that hardware class that we just made. So we're going to say that our test bench limit called bench is going to be equal to a new test bench limit. And inside of our initialize statement, we need to actually call that init method from that test bench we made. So we're going to say bench.init, and we're going to call this one with hardware map. So now it's actually set up. And the only thing we need to do is simply say telemetry.addData. We're going to say magnet state with a comma is going to be equal to bench.isLimitSwitch closed. So now we'd expect when we move that magnet towards it, it should say true. And when we move the magnet away, it should say false. So I've connected my REV control hub here with the USB-A. I'm going to go ahead and click on this run button. It needs to be from USB-C to USB-A connection, otherwise it won't actually run. So let's go ahead and get this actually installed on our control hub, and let's take a look at it. Now on this program board here, I have a space for your limit switch or your magnet just to rest on top of a bolt. And then the magnet limit switch here will actually actuate if you pull it in front of the magnet or beside the magnet. It has a little further range if it's in front of the sensor than when it's just beside, but it still will work. I have a bad habit of forgetting to write at teleop before I run this. So let's go ahead and build this again. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and click the hamburger menu. Oops, sorry, not hamburger menu. Teleop. Select our magnet test. We'll initialize it and we'll run it. And currently it's saying the magnet state is false, but as soon as I move this magnet close to it, you should notice that it's now registering as true. So let's go ahead and see that a little farther. So now it's going to say false. As I move this close, you'll notice that that light lights up. It now says true. As I let away, it goes back to false. I can even put it beside the Hall sensor here, and it will say true and false, true and false. So let's get into one practical example here. What I want you to do is if the limit switch is closed, that means it's actuated, you should print out magnet detected. So let's see if you can do that simple example. So because robots are sensing, thinking, acting machines, I like to always sense all of my sensors at the top of my loop. So I'm going to make a new Boolean up at the top here. I'm going to call this one Boolean is the magnet switch. And we're going to say the magnet switch is going to be equal to bench.isLimitSwitch closed. Then if magnet switch, oops, that needs to be inside of parentheses. If magnet switch, we can simply say telemetry.addLine switch closed, or sorry, magnet detected. magnet detected, semicolon, and we can remove that last statement. So I hope you found that helpful working through magnetic limit switches. If you have any comments on anything we did today, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, best of luck out there with your robotics season.